These are the faces of the 11 hostages who were released from captivity and returned home on Monday. Israel confirmed the citizens were handed over to the Red Cross in Gaza, and IDF officials accompanied them into Israeli territory. It's expected the freed hostages will undergo a medical assessment of their health and they'll be reunited with their families. Israel and Hamas have agreed to extend the ceasefire for another 2 days. This allows for the release of another 20 Israeli hostages in exchange for 60 Palestinian prisoners. Here in Australia, relatives and friends of Israeli victims and hostages have called for the immediate return of all hostages at a demonstration in Parliament House in Canberra.
My name is Iris Chaim. My son Yotam Chaim. Chaim in the meaning in Hebrew of Chaim is life. He lived in Kibbutz Kfar Aza, very little settlement near the border. At this moment of 7th of October, this day, he had to go to perform. He is a metal drummer, heavy metal drummer. He loves, like you see, he loves animals. He have a big heart, very special person. Also have a medical condition, medical problem, severe medical problem that needs medicines. In this morning of the 7th of October, he was in his home, little room in the kibbutz, 2 rooms, and he informed us that he will not go to the party to perform because there are terrorists in the kibbutz. And first we didn't believe what we heard. We couldn't imagine that something like this can happen in Israel. We thought maybe one terrorist came in the kibbutz and maybe in few minutes he will go or killed or something like that. The army will help. But as the time passed, we understood there are many terrorists in this place, little place. Afterwards, we understand that there were maybe 500 terrorists in this kibbutz, and they are shooting inside the house. He is telling us that he is inside the house and they are shooting on his door and on the door of the safe room. The safe room is against missiles, it's not against terrorists. He writing us very hard words like, I'm afraid, I think I will not survive that. If I will not survive, I want you to know that I love you. And we are there, we are not there in this kibbutz, we live there in the same place, and we hear that and we see that, but we cannot imagine, cannot believe that my son is there and going through that. And at around 10:44, not around, exactly at 10:44 a.m., his last word was, I think I'm going to die. I don't have air. I write him that maybe he can open the window. But then he wrote me, no, they are waiting for me outside. They will kill me. And from that moment until now, we don't know nothing about him. We know that he is there. We know that he is kidnapped. That as a mother, it was my wish that he kidnapped and that he is not dead and that I will not hear about a body. And I was amazed that I heard myself say, oh, I hope he's kidnapped. He is there somewhere, nobody knows where. We don't know about his condition. As I said before, he needs medicines. I'm sure he's not getting them. And I ask you, please help us with that issue. The Red Cross had the Hamas make a deal with Israel that as as part of the deal, they must bring the Red Cross inside Gaza to meet the hostages, but they are not doing this. They should do that, and we need the help of Australia to make pressure about that, if you understand what I mean. That's what we ask now. My son is there, he don't have his medicines. I don't know what happens to him. Of course, we want him back soon, as soon as it's possible. Thank you.
Elon Musk has declared his support for Israel. The billionaire travelled to Israel, where he met Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and the pair toured a kibbutz, which was targeted by Hamas gunmen during the October 7 attacks. In an interview with the Prime Minister, the Tesla founder said Israel has no choice but to eliminate Hamas.
When the terrorists infiltrated into the kibbutz itself, this is the house of Bill. On his way back, we noticed several terrorists that were right over here. It's a symbol in the kibbutz. Kids inside.
There were dozens of
For 4 days, Gaza has remained tense but calm as the ceasefire has held. And then, hours before the truce was due to expire, news came through of an extension.
It is our duty to bring back all the hostages and all the missing persons back home, whether through continuing to carry out the outline or to carry on with the next stages of the war.
Israel and Hamas have agreed to continue the temporary ceasefire for a further 2 days after significant international pressure.
Humanitarian pause has already brought a halt to the fighting, together with a surge of humanitarian assistance. Now, in order to extend the pause, Hamas has committed to releasing another 20 women and children over the next 2 days. We would, of course, hope to see the pause extended further, and that will depend upon Hamas continuing to release hostages.
The Palestinian Authority has already said that it wants the ceasefire to be extended further.
La tregua paró.
The truce went into effect with 15,000 deaths. If we see the war resume tomorrow, then the number of deaths will double, because the concentration of the Palestinian population is now twice-fold.
Tonight, another 11 Israeli hostages were released. 2 mothers and 9 children, as well as 33 Palestinian prisoners as part of the agreement. The extension will bring hope to many families still waiting for news of their relatives, like Inbal Tzak. 3 of her family were killed on October the 7th, and her cousin Tal Soham is still being held hostage. Tal's wife and 2 children and mother-in-law were released on Saturday.
The world needs to know that there is kids right now that miss their father. Can you look in his eyes and then to look in the young kid eyes and to explain where is daddy? Why he can't play with her and why he can't put her to bed after the shower? Why he can't give her food or just a hug? I'm just asking people around the world to know that the family is not complete.
Today, another released hostage, 78-year-old Margalit Moses, left hospital. With the truce extended, there will be more scenes like this in the coming days. But Hamas has captured many IDF soldiers. It is hard to see them being released without some major concessions from Israel. Alistair Buckle, Sky News in Jerusalem.